Rough, rough game. And just a heartbreaker to get to the end of it. Just, I don't even know where to begin on a game like that. It's frustrating, to say the least, especially the way we started on defense. Just looked like we were going to give up 40 points in that game. Finally buckled down in the third quarter, gave ourselves a chance just to squander it away in the fourth. Where do we even begin? Where we should begin is coaching. I think Steve Sarkisian is a great coach. I have a lot of faith in the decisions he makes. I think he's an excellent recruiter. I think he puts a good staff around him. That's come to show. We've been able to develop talent throughout the past few years. But one thing that is very noticeable and factually confirmed is that he struggles in big games against big name competition, top 5 opponents. I don't know what the stat line is. I think he's 2-5, 2-6 since he's been at Texas against top 5 opponents. And again, Georgia, number 5 team in the nation. You're going to Athens. You're playing in a very tough situation. It's at nighttime. They're ready for you. They have your number. And once again, Steve Sarkisian gets outcoached by Kirby Smart. In just so many different ways. First and foremost, the opening script of the offense fails again. It did last year as well. We didn't make some good plays. We didn't execute, though. Kick a field goal, and that one field goal you have on the opening series is the only point you have in the entire first half. Then with a glimmer of hope in the third quarter, you score your lone touchdown of the game. Steve Sarkisian was hired by Texas to bring in this offensive brilliance to the team. And 3 games in a row against a premier defense, give them credit where credit's due, he gets outcoached on his side of the ball, on the side of the ball that we should be proficient at. And some of it does come to the players too, but a lot of what I saw last night was more tied to execution. And I tie execution to either lack of leadership or lack of coaching or both. I feel like last year we had issues with penalties as well. It's hard to remember, but this year, just the amount of penalties that we've had in every phase of the game. Offense, constant false starts, holdings, special teams. How many times has this Texas team squandered away a huge play on special teams through penalties? This was something that was definitely occurring last year in 2024 and just continues to plague us this year. I think Ryan Niblett had a 60-yard return at one point in time in this game. Gives us opportunity to go down and score, keep it close, and again, called back for holding. Now, instead of getting the ball on their 40, we get the ball on our own 10. Great. Against, again, a really good defense. So just undisciplined in general on all sides of the ball. Penalties, so awful. And then couple that with the amount of drops and the amount of times that we shoot ourselves in the foot, especially on the offensive side, where we have opportunities for big gains, for opportunities to make an impact, at least get in scoring position, maybe kick a field goal, just get points in general. Keep this game moving, keep the score moving. And we just, again, time after time, we can't make the big play. Not even the big play. The routine passes. Ryan Wingo has had issues all year long with dropping balls, and it was not a good omen when he dislocated his thumb. They said he was fine. He full participant in practice this week. Bye week helped him. I had this lingering thought, dislocated thumb, is this going to set him back in his ability to catch the ball again? Just abysmal how bad he is at catching just routine balls, crossers across the middle, where he could catch it. And with his speed, he might take it to the house. But at minimum, he's going to get a first down or 15, 20 yards. Arch looked okay. I'll get to Arch in a minute. I do want to talk about the good stuff, but let's keep talking about the bad. I was talking about coaching. So coaching. Sarkisian just completely outcoached by Kirby Smart, his good friend, another Nick Saban protege. I don't know if he can get past him. That's 3 in a row that he's lost to him. It's exactly what we talked about in the pregame podcast. It's the inverse of the Sarkisian Brent Venables saga. I guess just pray with the new SEC scheduling that we don't have to see Georgia for at least a couple of years, and maybe we just have some time to cure us of the fear of having to play Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. Just completely out-disciplined, out-executed, out-coached. The special, everybody knows what the nail in the coffin was that trick onside kick. And again, Georgia beats us on a special teams play. They out-special teams us once again. We think that we have the advantage coming into all these games with our special teams. Ryan Niblett, he's unstoppable. Kick the ball to him. We're going to make you pay. Nope. What do? They have one more trick play, just like last year in the SEC championship game where they did a fake punt for a big-time completion. This time they get the ball back. Our defense is exhausted. That's the game. That was literally the game right there. That and the 2 4th-down conversions before that, which we couldn't stop either one of them. Colin Simmons, here, you want lack of discipline? Colin Simmons, your stalwart edge player, going to be in a first-round NFL draft pick probably in the 2027 draft. What's he do on 4th and 5? He jumps off sides. Free play. What did they do? 2 or 3 plays later, they score a touchdown to take it to, what would that have been? 21-10. Still not out of reach, but then they onside kick. They go down and score again. 28-10. Game's over. I'm so disappointed in this team. So disappointed in Sark for just not having his guys ready. Jeff Banks, again, significant holding call on kickoff returns, not having your guys prepared for some sort of special teams trickery comes to bite us again. Very disappointed on that side. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about on the coaching side. On the defensive side, I don't know if our defense is great or not. They scored 14 points in the first 2 drives they had the ball. Didn't look like we had a real good scheme for stopping them. Settled in though. Give them credit where credit's due. We settled in in the second quarter and going into the third quarter. Defense looked like they kind of had some momentum going for them. Had a couple of good sacks, a couple pressures. But let me tell you what. We didn't learn from our mistakes. We didn't learn from what Georgia was showing us. How many times did Gunnar Stockton do that little rollout boot where he just passed it over to somebody in the flats and they were either open or he ran the ball and scored and made a significant play? Too many. It got to the point where if it was 3rd and short, I was just saying, hey, bootleg's coming. And sure enough, here comes the bootleg. The last time I saw it coming, Gunnar Stockton runs in almost unimpeded into the end zone. Before that, he rolls out to his right, makes a throw to a wide open tight end or somebody else running on the flats. And then on the other side of the defensive side, we thought getting Michael Taff and Jelani McDonald back would just cure everything on the passing side. It didn't. That coverage bust, I don't remember which tight end it was, that just ran up the seam. Didn't look like an overly complicated play. 2 wide receivers stacked together on the right side. They hike it. It's a simple read and shift. And switch man, and Michael Taft bites on the outside receiver movement, and their tight end or wide receiver, whoever he was, big guy, goes right up the seam, wide open. Easiest throw Gunnar Stockton had to make all day for a 30, 40-yard touchdown, whatever it was. So defense, I don't know if you're great or not. You're undisciplined, Colin Simmons jumping off sides. You make coverage busts all the time. And there's still plenty of penalties, pass interference. We're not getting our head around on certain plays. The Warren Roberson pass interference that got reversed, that should have been a pass interference. He never made a play on the ball. I thought that was bad. I think Anthony Hill had a pass interference earlier in the game. We did have the 1 turnover. That was a good mark. And like I said, they played good in some spurts, but once they got wore down, it was over. And again, no complimentary football in this game. Yeah, defense. I have no idea if we're good or not, or if Georgia's just that good of an offense. I seem to think based on the past results, playing Kentucky, playing Mississippi State, giving up a bunch of points to Vanderbilt at the end of the game, it seems like our defense is definitely regressing. So maybe this isn't the all-world defense that we thought we were squandering away this year with a bad offense. Maybe we're just lackluster in both sides of the football. Maybe that's just what it is. Maybe this is just a rebuilding year in general. Offense, I thought the offense showed heart. Undisciplined, holding calls. Anytime you have pre-snap penalties, holding calls, drop passes, like how are you going to win a game against a great defense? I mean, it's almost impossible. I thought Arch had a great game. The interception was bad. He started losing his mechanics towards the second half. I texted Justin and Ben that he was opening his shoulder too wide and it was making him inaccurate. It's like he was kind of rushing through his technique again, which is something we saw earlier in the season. But he got away from that in the second half and he started looking dialed in again. I thought he played a very courageous game. Made some throws. Wide receivers did not help him at all. In fact, most of the plays where we did make good plays were based on him finding wide open wide receivers, going across the middle or buying time in the pocket. Offensive line looked okay, I guess. We knew what Kirby Smart was going to do. He brings pressure from everywhere. It doesn't matter if he has all-world edges like Mikael Williams or Jalen Walker like he did last year. No, they're going to trick you, and they're going to confuse your offensive line. The difference this year was we had Arch instead of Quinn, and Arch is much more comfortable in the pocket, and he looked good. The interception was bad. That was a just inaccurate ball. I think he had one other fumble where he maybe held on to the ball too long, but other than that, he kind of kept us in the game on the offensive side, and we had a couple of playmakers that helped him out on the offense, maybe we're having a different conversation today. But he has really progressed throughout the year, even with the spotlight on him, and that significant lack of meeting expectations at the beginning of the year. He's really grown. You can tell he's focused. He's a fighter. I think he's going to be really, really good next year. Hopefully the expectations aren't that high so we can shock everybody in a good way. But I do like the way Arch played. And I thought Trey Wisner ran the ball okay. Made a couple bonehead plays where he just didn't get the yards he could, and he started to step back and took a tremendous tackle for loss. But I thought he played okay. Our running game was okay. We got some blockers out front on a couple. So it was fine. It was just, in general, lack of discipline. I don't know how many penalties there were. It was more than 8, I think. And I think Georgia might have had 1 penalty the entire game. So that comes down to coaching. I already talked about special teams. So on the good side of things, well, you got 2 games left. You got to refocus. Arkansas is going to be itching. They see the blood in the water. They're going to want to come to Austin and just completely derail and ruin the season. Not that it's not already ruined because you're essentially out of the college football playoff, bearing some miracle. And then you've got A&M coming to Austin in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday, and they're playing for the SEC championship. They probably have to win that game in order to get into the SEC championship, is my guess. So they're going to be highly motivated, and whoever gets the SEC championship is probably getting a bye week. So they're playing for a bye week against Texas in Austin. And again, now you have it on tape. Here's the defense that Texas really struggles with. So Texas, can we get back on track? Can we forget about this one pretty quickly? Take care of Arkansas in that game early. I don't think we can end any game early. It doesn't seem like we always play to the level of our competition. Even last night. Last night Georgia's a much better disciplined team, and yet it's a 14-10 game late in the third quarter. We have a chance to get in there, and again, we just gave it up. We blew the opportunity. We weren't ready on special teams. You knew something crazy was going to happen like that, and the defense couldn't get a critical stop when we had to have a critical stop. 2 fourth down conversions in the same drive leading to a touchdown is what I'm talking about right now. But again, those were good play calls, well-crafted, smart. Kirby Smart knew they rolled the dice, but he knew he had confidence in his play calls, his offensive coordinator, and they got the job done. So how long is this one going to linger with Texas? I don't know. I'd like to say that they've already forgotten about it and they're prepping for Arkansas, but I doubt that's the case. I'm sure their heads are hanging pretty low right now, but maybe after today they can have a little vent session and get back on track and try to derail A&M season in a couple weeks. I mean, because that's kind of what we're at this point in time. You have to do that if you want to have any kind of hope to be in the CFP, which I don't think is really an option at this point in time. I think some other crazy things have to happen, and I think you pretty much have to dominate the next 2 games. But regardless, you have an opportunity to play spoiler. So that's all I got. I got it all off my chest. Hopefully I can get my head a little higher for the rest of the day now, go do some fun things outside in this beautiful weather we're having in Texas in November. So, as always, hook 'em, hate the loss. Hopefully we're better for it. Time to move on, start prepping for 2026 because that's kind of where we're at now.